down there. My parents, they're a trip, man. They actually used to be hardcore potheads when I was growing up. Like, they were so hardcore, I'm pretty sure my first edible was breast milk. That's how hardcore they are. I was the only kid in school that had manual Post-it notes. They were Zigzag brand. Just write your note, lick it, stick it. Come back to that shit later. What's weird is I didn't recognize they were potheads until later on in life, and I don't know why, because there's so many clues to give it away. Like, for example, the first time I saw somebody throwing a Frisbee, I remember thinking, why are those kids throwing around that tray? My parents keep that thing under the couch, you know? Behind that booger wiping flap. Halloween sucks when you have pothead parents, you know? I go out and do my thing, bring back a huge bounty of candy. They were good parents, so they would make sure there wasn't any razors or poison or anything in there, right? Apparently I grew up in a very dangerous neighborhood. So I never got left with shit after these assholes looked at it. It's like a couple pieces of candy, corn, and some green Skittles. How in the hell did they poison every other Skittle besides the green ones? This is bullshit on this. The worst part about having pothead parents, I always thought I was getting a dog when I was growing up. Because a little code to go see their pot guy was, hey, we'll be back. We gotta go see a man about a dog. They never came back with that dog. Just huge smiles like they just got through petting every goddamn dog on the planet, though. I just thought maybe they didn't bring him back because they're allergic, because their eyes are always red and shit. Alright, that makes sense, you know? But I swore I'm not going to be like my parents, do my kids that way, and I don't do my kids that way, okay? And I do that by not having any kids. Exactly. Screw that. Instead of that, I just smoke a shit ton of weed and throw a Frisbee for my dog Skittles. We're having a great time. At my small little town, we did anybody else here do church lock-ins? Do you remember church lock-ins? Anybody? Yeah. Some weird shit, isn't it? Let's take a bunch of 12 and 13-year-olds when they're most sexually confused and curious. Let's lock them in a huge building overnight that has a bunch of nooks and crannies. We'll feed them Mountain Dew cake and candy. Surely there'll be no shenanigans here. Where all the shenanigans happens at the church lock-in. But I think I realized why they do that so when the kids leave, they can line them up, smell their fingers, decide who they need to send to a different lock-in called a conversion camp. They pulled me to the side and started praying over me. I was like, guys, I just had an itchy asshole. I swear to your God, that's me. That's my beef, you know. Turns out an itchy ass will get you sent to some weird camp in Indiana for a couple of weeks. They got pictures of the Lord and Savior Mike Pence hanging up all over the walls. Like, why can't you be more like a former governor and former vice president and marry a woman? Call her mother. There's nothing weird about that shit. This is like the second coolest thing that's happened to me today, guys. The first cool thing that happened to me today is I got to see a titty in public. It was just one tit though. It's like the old saying goes, hey, a day with one tit is definitely way cooler than a day with zero tits. That's what my grandpa used to say anyway. He seems like he's got his shit together. The way I saw this titty was this woman was breastfeeding her kid out in public. So of course I couldn't see the whole thing at first because some goddamn kid's head was in the way. Luckily that kid moved his head. Boom! Titty! The weird part of this story though is why that kid moved his head. He moved his head to reach over, grab a Cheeto, and then eat that Cheeto. Am I wrong in thinking if you're old enough to eat Cheetos, maybe you're too old to wash that down with mother's milk? Unless that's his first edible too, I don't know.